Thanks for joining us as author Dwayne Anderson presents the diagram, Am I Growing in My Spiritual Maturity? The link for the diagram can be found in the description box below. Join us now as Dwayne teaches through this material.
And then finally we see two more, not only the spiritual parent with Timothy's, but with Timothy's who teach faithful men. 2 Timothy 2:2 says, "And the things that you have heard from me among many witnesses, the same commit to faithful men who shall be able to teach others also." Now, did you count the spiritual generations there? We have Paul. What's next?
Timothy.
Then what's next?
Faithful men.
And what's next?
Others also.
Okay, we have a fourth generation. And so we see that a spiritual parent with faithful men like Timothy, we see an illustration of what this did in Acts chapter 19, verses 8 through 10. And he went into the synagogue and spoke boldly for 3 months, reasoning and persuading concerning the things of the kingdom of God. But when some were hardened and did not believe, but spoke evil of the way before the multitude, he departed from them and withdrew the disciples. In other words, those who had become Christians were wanting to grow, and he was reasoning daily in the school of Tyrannus. And this continued for 2 years, so that all those who dwelt in Asia heard the word of the Lord Jesus, both Jews and Greeks. Now, here we see in that day and culture, they took off the hot hours of the day. But Paul used that time to train people. They were willing to go to the school, so they used his classroom for training as adults to be able to teach the Word of God. And so what happened? It says all those who dwelt in Asia. Asia was the western third of the country of Turkey today. And then we see that the final level here that we have listed on here, in Acts 20:20, he says, "Now I have kept back nothing that was helpful, but proclaimed it to you and taught you publicly and from house to house, testifying to the Jews and also to the Greeks, repentance toward God and faith toward our Lord Jesus Christ." And so then he says, now I'm on my way to Jerusalem, and then I know that I'm probably going to end up in prison. And so he says, I probably won't ever see you again. But he says, this is what I want you to know. I have kept back nothing that was helpful. But I proclaimed it to you, and I taught you publicly and from house to house. You know, Paul took the time to take people and go to the homes of others and share the word. We find him doing that frequently as we go through the New Testament. He ministered in homes. We see he lived with Aquila and Priscilla in their house and for a period of time. And not only he, but the team that was with him. Because as they were traveling, we see that he did the same in the house of Lydia and others. So that we see that a process is followed where we have spiritual parents with Timothy's who are equipping faithful men to teach others also. And when he returned to visit this city, we see in Acts 14:21 through 23, what he did when he returned to Corinth. And this is what he did in every city. It says, "And when they had preached the gospel to that city and had made many disciples, they returned to Lystra, Iconium, and Antioch. And doing these things, strengthening the souls of the disciples, exhorting them to continue in the faith, and saying, we must through many tribulations enter the kingdom of God. So when they had appointed elders in every church, and had prayed with fasting, they commended them to the Lord, in whom they believed." And after that, they moved on to what they were going to be doing. But we see that they took the time to not only train, but to strengthen. You know, even people who are disciples can become discouraged. As circumstances happen in the world, can that cause Christians to become very discouraged at times? And so they need that strengthening ministry, that encouraging ministry.
You have been watching Dwayne Anderson review the diagram, Am I Growing in My Spiritual Maturity?